Yes, it's John G. Sutton. Tales from the Jails. Today I want to talk a little bit about the training school, the way that prison officers were trained back in the day in 1975 when I started. You started off with the exam, which you took. It was national recruitment at the time, and you took a nationally set examination, which was the standard civil service entrance exam. So basically, that's what it was. And you took that, I personally took it at Southall Street. It was just where the big gates are, the big oak and iron gates, the two towers there. Further up on the left hand side, there's a door into the wall that leads into a set of offices, and in there, that's where they did the the tests. Started off with basically filling forms in, then you go in for an exam, sit down, a written exam, exactly like it used to be in the 1960s, 1970s. We sit down at the school, pen, paper, fill it in. Some of it was multi-choice, some of it was written. Simple questions. I mean, to me, seem very simple. Questions like, which would you not measure distance with? A rope, a chain, a ruler, or a length of elastic tape? You know what I mean? What, what kind of a dipstick would fail that? Seriously. There were some googlies in there, so listen, yeah, this is what you do. You come to one that you don't quite know, which is, yeah, it happens, all the exams have got them in. You jump that and go to the next one. You don't sit there scratching your head thinking, God, because the next thing you know, ding, or does it go something like, I don't know, something like this. Time, please. Yeah, that's it. Put your pens down. All right. Well, anyway, you do that exam, and then when I did it, there was about 20, 25 of us in the room, perhaps. And they read out a list of names. Said all these people would go into the next room. Oh, well, I was just continued to sit at the table, and there were about 8 of us left, I think. So 2/3 failed the exam because they said all the people that have left the room have not passed the exam. You've passed the exam. If you'll go into the next room, we'll take it to the next level. So that was it. The next level was arranging a medical and arranging an interview, which came about 4 weeks later. Sent me a letter at home. I went in and did the interview. So anyway, at the interview, I remember one of the questions. There was 2 chief officers and a governor, and one of the chief officers said to me, "Mr. Sutton," he said, "how would you feel about dealing with somebody who was an angry, violent man?" And I kind of smiled, said, "Yeah, not a problem." He said, "You say it's not a problem, but there are some dangerous people in there." I said, "Yeah." I said, "So there were plenty of dangerous people in the army, and I was the middleweight champion, the boxing champion." Yeah. All right. Very good answer. Yeah. See, I had big hands, you see, big fists like that, That's how I did it, you see, boxing. I'm not particularly big, but more like a Mike Tyson kind of thing. Boom! You put that on somebody and they know about it. That's how it worked for me anyway. I was going to offer a professional contract, but my wife, she went absolutely wild. She said, "Not only are you not accepting that, you're not boxing again. It's madness." She hated it, you see. She couldn't watch it. One night when I won the interregimental competition, I knocked this bloke through the ring in one round, and I was at the bar afterwards. I had a few German friends with me, and this colonel came up. "Oh, Mr. Sutton, you've done remarkably well. I believe you've won Boxer of the Year award and all this, that, and the other." And my wife says to him, she said, "Yeah," she says, "get him somebody that can fight." Yeah, because I mean, they had got me what they had, but I mean, it wasn't very good. It was only army opposition. So anyway, from there you went to the training school after you'd done a couple of weeks at Strangeways, where they showed you around the jail and you had to do little exercises and all that. Piece of piss, really. Then you went to the training school at Leyhill. Mine was at Leyhill. There was another one at Wakefield. Yeah, national training it was. Wasn't regional training. Wasn't local training. Wasn't recruitment by prison. It was recruitment by for the national prison service. There was no such thing as private prisons, which, by the way, I believe are an abomination, an insult to society. The idea that we would exploit prisoners for personal financial gain is an insult to the integrity of this great nation. Seriously, it is. Whoever dreamed that up should be put in there themselves. Yeah, and what they've got, I'll tell you what they've got in these private prisons, people working 40, 45, 50 hours a week on basic pay. Not enhanced rates for weekends, not enhanced rates for night. Oh, it's built into your, hey, 20,000, 22,000 pound a year built into your salary. That's what happens, you see, when you haven't got a proper trade union. And believe me, the Prison Officers Association has got as much in common with a trade union as my parrot and my warthog on the wall. You don't believe me? I've got a warthog on the wall there. There you are. That's it. That's the POA committee. That's my POA committee anyway. They're about as much use as that. Oh, they were anyway. So, yeah, so from there you're going into the training school, and that's where I met my mate Paul. And one night we went drinking in the club at Leyhill, at a prison officers club, and it'd get to be about 10:30, and I had about 4 pints, which seems enough for me, you know. I said, right, Paul, I'm going home now. Are you ready? No, he said, I'm definitely having a couple more. I said, Git, it's pitch black out there, you know. It's time to go home. No, he said, I'll have a couple more. He said, how many? He said, I'm not walking all that way down the road. He said, I'm going through the farm, which was between the school, the prison officers' school, which was a big old mansion house, and the actual prison, yeah. In between, there was a farm, a prison farm, you know. But it was a proper farm. They had cows, they had geese, they had pigs, and it was the pigs that did it. You see, me and Paul, plenty beer, 4 pints for me. I walked back. I didn't stay in the same room as him. I had a different room. Anyway, the next morning, I mean, I didn't think no more about it. I thought he'd be all right, you know. Next morning, we're all on parade. You had to line up one behind each other twice, you know, line of three like you do in the army. And stand to attention. The principal officer comes out, and anyway, the principal officer came out and he said, "Who has been in the pigsty?" Because the whole yard was stinking of pig shit. And what had happened was, Paul had got pest in the club, and he'd taken a shortcut through the farm. Thought all he had to do was climb the fence over the pigsty, walk through the pigsty, climb over the fence, and then continue on to the school, you know, where we were boarding, you know. He got halfway across the pigsty, and it was full of pig shit. He slipped into the pig shit, and then he couldn't get up. So he ended up being covered in pig shit. Of course, he hadn't got a real proper change of clothes with him. So in the morning, he had to come down on parade, still covered with pig shit. Yeah. And the whole parade ground stunk of it. And the people who were in the same room as him were absolutely going wild. He got called up by the head of the governor in charge of the training school and said, I won't tell you his full name, I said, Paul, do you have a drinking problem? And audaciously, Paul said, yeah, I do have a drinking problem. He said, I can't afford it. Yeah, well, he couldn't afford it. I mean, I tell you, he could put some away, that lad. But he was an intelligent guy. Him and I went to see Richard III with Alan Bedell. And tonight I'm going to see Richard III at the Royal Shakespeare Company with my grandson. But before I get there, it's only right that you get treated to my interpretation of Nat King Cole's Walking My Baby Back Home. Are you ready? Gee, but it's great after being out late, walking my baby back home. Arm in arm over meadow and farm, walking my baby back home. We go along harmonizing a song, or I'm reciting a poem. Owls go by, they give me the eye, walking my baby back home. I'm going to stop there. I want to just discuss this. I mean, all right, he starts it off with saying it's great being out late, walking his baby back home. I take it this means a lady, yeah? Arm in arm over meadow and farm. I don't know if you've walked over meadows, but meadows have got clunky grass, they've got bogs, they've got holes, the rough terrain. It's rough terrain over a meadow, yeah? And then he takes her through a farm. Now, if you've been into a farmyard like my mate Paul went into a farmyard, there's pig shit, hen shit, cow claps, all that bollocks all over the floor, and he's walking this woman, his baby, through this, yeah? I mean, what kind of shoes has she got on? That's what I want to know. I mean, if you're touring out with me, what do? I mean, usually, if I'm going to take a lady out, my wife, we'll go out, and I'll either drive, or if I'm going to have a drink, I'll get a taxi. Yeah, and then we'll go there and come back. But as for walking her through the fields, yeah, over the moors, over the meadows, and over some farm, you can imagine what she'd say. And it isn't just that. I mean, these people are obviously deranged. I mean, what have they been drinking or smoking? One wonders, because as they're going along, they're harmonizing a song. That means they're singing together. Can you imagine this? Do 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 do. It's pissing it down. It's midnight. They're in the middle of the moors, and then it isn't just singing along together. He starts reciting a poem. What the hell's he reciting? If that was me and I was with him, I'd think, I'm out of here. This is one weird bastard, eh? Can you imagine it? I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vale and hill, when all at once I saw a crowd. Hey, and not only that, he's talking to the bloody owls. The owls are looking at him. Even they suspect he's around the bend. Anyway, that's enough of that. I'll sing the last line. She's afraid of the dark, so I have to park outside of her door till it's light. She says if I try to kiss her, she'll cry. I dry her tears all through the night. Suddenly he's nicked a car, because obviously if he's walking over the moors and he's in the farmyard, he hasn't got a car. So it ends up with him nicking a car. She's in the car outside her house. It's gone through the night. I mean, what are her family thinking about her? They'll probably be thinking she's been bloody kidnapped. And then she says if he kisses her, she's going to cry. So he's wasted his bloody time walking my baby back home. What kind of a song is that? Eh? Give me a proper song like Onward Christian Soldiers. I wanted that at my wedding, They wouldn't allow it. The vicar said it wasn't appropriate. He's a miserable bastard anyway. Look what happened. 52 years later, I'm still married. Anyway, Tales from the Jails. My name's John G. Sutton. Like this if you like it. I mean, I don't know. Subscribe or whatever. I'll see you soon.